Black Coffee with a Side of Tea starts now only on Stunner Radio.
All righty, so here we are. It is another Saturday with Black Coffee with a Side of Tea, and we are here. You got a couple of opportunities to interact with us. You can come on to our Facebook page. You can tune in to YouTube and meet us on YouTube and drop a couple of messages. But you got with you today Miss Lisa Dene. How you doing, Lisa?
Hey, I'm good, sitting in for Lisa the Boss Lady.
And you got Miss Mimi. You haven't been at the table in a while.
Listen,
Mimi.
what's up, y'all? She got Miss Mimi.
I pulled her in like literally 30 seconds ago. Like,
Listen, I thought she was joking.
I wasn't joking. But just happy to be here. But you know how we do it. So what has your week been like? I've literally missed your beautiful faces.
I know. And you been glowing and stuff here lately.
Am I
Latriva, Dio, been popping in and stuff.
That's that coconut.
So that's how your week been.
Yes.
Okay.
Been all done.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, for all you people in the back.
So Lisa Dene, we'll let Miss Mimi get herself together. Lisa Dene, how's your week been? Makeup killer.
My week has been really good. It has been really busy.
Okay.
But good.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Awesome.
And Miss Mimi, you haven't been with us in a while. What's going on? You got a lot to catch up on. We'll catch us up on, but we'll only start with you.
Yeah, we only do a couple of seconds. My week was actually pretty interesting. I had a photo shoot early in the week, and the photographer was like, "Please come out and meet these people.
Mhm.
I really, I think they'd be great for your show, this and the other." And I was like, "Okay, cool, let's do it." And so the guy, the owner of the company, was like, "Yeah, but your demographics probably is not what we want." And I said, "Well, okay, boo, we good for that."
What did that mean?
Well, by the end of the conversation, I surmised that he was looking at what color I am and assumed that because it's only, air quotes, an internet radio show, that we are only on the internet, not realizing that the internet is
the
internet.
That's how
Worldwide.
people consume, right?
Okay.
Everything is okay, sir.
Yeah. So it was really interesting to see another melanated person.
Okay.
Yeah, talking to me, trying to talk down his nose to
Well,
me.
some people, they are behind the times, so they don't understand the power of the internet, and they don't understand that there's some podcasts out here doing numbers that will blow your mind.
Mhm.
They're doing numbers that will make these terrestrial radio stations look crazy.
Yeah.
That's why you have the AM and FM stations with podcasts now. Did y'all know that?
Yeah,
They have separate podcasts
Yeah.
because they're losing to the internet. So, I mean, sometimes people are behind the times, and sometimes this is what I learned this week.
Mhm.
I forgot about it, but when she brought it up, it made me realize sometimes a person trying to put your mind in a certain state,
Mhm.
and they will make comments to try to make you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Even though they know it's the other way,
Yeah.
Right.
they want to make you feel
Mhm.
small
Mhm.
or make you feel less.
And that's what I
you know,
gathered from him, that it was the, trying to make me feel less because
Yeah.
I'm, you're a Black woman, because he was not from the States. He wasn't that, but close.
Oh,
But he
okay.
was one of those that
Mhm.
who in their
Mhm.
country, the
Mhm.
women, no.
Not the UK.
No,
Thank
no,
you,
he
Lord.
was,
Like middle.
he was, Middle
Oh,
Eastern.
okay.
And so it was more of, but you're
Yes.
Black people.
Yes.
So yeah,
Oh.
y'all want what we
Right.
have. And I said,
Right.
but I'm not trying to argue with him,
Right.
but I will try to help you understand it, that, we're in 9 countries now,
Mhm.
and it is a internet. The
Right.
internet goes everywhere. I said, and there are people that watch us. There are people who we have on the show talking about their companies. Well, but we, in bulk this. I said, you know what? Okay, boo. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And sometimes you have to do that. Don't
Yes.
allow them, like Lisa said, to make you feel away,
Yeah.
to devalue you. Keep your energy and your power. Thank you so much, with a
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just because you don't understand doesn't mean that it's not real.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Doesn't mean that it's not worthy.
Right.
Right.
It's okay.
Because I'm not. This doesn't just rely on you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that was the start of my week because that was Monday.
Oh wow, that was Monday.
Felt like I needed a couple of drinks on the way on the freeway back down from Rosenberg. I dug it, but
I
it is
feel
what it
you.
is. It was an interesting experience,
Okay,
right?
for sure.
And it made me look at how I look at the show
Mhm.
myself,
Mhm.
and made me, kind of, make sure that when people talk to me or when you see this, right?
I cannot.
Oh no, I was just
I cannot.
I wanted to see if I could see it on there. And there can see, look. Oh, you missed
Well,
it.
y'all look at the replay, y'all. You'll see Dolly in full effect. But yeah, yes. It just made me, want to make sure that when I do talk about, or when we are talking to people about getting ads and all that I make sure that my chest is stuck out even more so.
Yes.
Even more so.
Well, I have been told this so many years of my life, and I feel like it's becoming more and more apparent and more clear and more I'm
True,
gaining
accurate, yeah.
a great understanding
Mhm.
of the fact that if you don't know who you are,
Yeah.
everybody and their mama will try to tell you who you are.
Right.
And if you are not sure of your identity, everybody will try to give you one.
Mhm.
So you really, truly have to know who you are,
That's right.
what you're working with, what your value is. Because if you don't, people will try to assign it to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And most of the time, theirs ain't what you want.
No,
At all.
no,
Yes.
not even close. My week has been very interesting. It was kind of up and down. I had some time with my therapist, and I hadn't talked to her
Nice.
in shoot,
A while, huh?
probably a month and a half.
Okay.
And just the things that I had been enduring in that amount of time was just like before I could even start really talking. She was just like, "Well, how are you?" Like we caught up a little bit,
Mhm.
and she just kind of looked at me in this kind of way of knowing. It
Mhm.
was just like, "Well, how are you?"
Like
And
really.
it was like, "Girl, I just wanted you to know it's been rough." So that's how that whole hour
That's
went,
good.
and it was so freeing.
Yes.
And I love that she has different ways of treating me. So we have some Reiki that we're planning. She's going to come on the show with us in a couple months, and I'm just really looking forward to this different kind of therapy, right? So we talked about some things, and she was just like, "I feel like there's some blockage. I feel like there are some other things that we need to address, and this is where we're going to go." And so to be able to have multiple, I guess, modalities of therapy that one person can do, it's just been really helpful to have her in my life. And I'm looking forward to having her come on and kind of talk about what that looks like, what therapy and mental health and
Oh, that'll be
what that
good.
looks like
Yeah.
for us. Because
Black people or women?
yeah, because one of the things that she talked about was, yes, I got my PhD, but I literally had to unlearn all of those ways because they didn't serve my people. And I had to reteach myself
That's huge.
the ways that I needed to prepare myself to help the people that I want to help. And that it's very true that, traditional training is centered around how white people see therapy and how white people see treatment. And there's a lot of just not even considering, not even including ways that culturally responsive ways of therapy. And so I appreciate that she brought that to light for me, and that she took the time herself to do what she needed to do so that she could serve us well.
That's
including,
huge.
including, knowing Reiki and having these other spiritual practices that are infused so that it's a more holistic treatment of us. So I love that.
And so you said a word that some people may not know, and she didn't say Reiki. She's not talking about
No.
Reiki Shonda. She said Reiki.
Yes.
Can you explain to them what Reiki is?
I know that it's an energy work that kind of, when there are certain traumas, when there are certain things that we experience as people in a natural way, there are energetic things that happen with us as well. And sometimes when we have barriers or difficulty overcoming certain things, the matter is more energetic, and there's some work that people are trained to do around creating certain openings and working with the chakras. And I don't have a whole lot of knowledge. Like, a lot of what I'm going to learn will be done through this process. My first meeting with her is in a few weeks. But just from what I've been able to read, it's like, oh gosh, that makes perfect sense. Like, when I was revealing some things to her as we were talking, she was like, oh, now that I know that you haven't had this kind of experience, that explains to me why so many of your barriers, and you have so many places now where you're challenged.
Wow.
So I, anticipate that there's some blockages here. We're going to do this energy work in order to work to unblock those spaces. And so it's different, but I'm open to what potentially could happen. Because I believe, and we're whole people, you
Absolutely.
gotta treat all of
Yeah.
us. So,
And that's why I was just going to ask you, what made you be okay with it? Because it is different from what's being taught or what we learn in church or what they say about holistic training. Because the word itself, holistic, when you say holistic, and it's not holy, us primarily be like, that ain't of God.
I just feel like there are many ways that we experience life. I feel like we are energy beings, we are spiritual beings. We have all of these multidimensional ways that we interact with this world, and the trauma that we receive is never from one direction, right? So there are things that happen to us spiritually, physically, emotionally. And I believe that the healing, if you're going to be healed, you're going to have to find tools that are going to heal you on those levels as well. So it just kind of makes sense that there is a need to be well on a level that a doctor can't touch, or there can't be a physical. And spirituality is so diverse. It is. And God can be sought in so many different ways. And I just believe that it's all it just all interacts. I believe in, the power of crystals. I believe in the power of the earth. I believe in grounding ourselves. Like, I just believe that we are coming from this earth, that there are things that are beyond what we can see that can be used to heal us. And that there are certain people who cultivate those gifts that can help with that process.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Hey, Rochelle. Rochelle Washington says, be transparent. So here's my thing on that, my take on that. We talked about this on Lisa Dene Live when we were talking about religion and how it has affected people as far as they won't even get a will because they feel like, I'm leaving it in God's hands.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, religion has made people somewhat intellectually lazy.
Yeah.
Because you have intellect for a reason. You can think for yourself. It doesn't matter, what you've been told, what scripture been spoke over your life. You can still think for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. We have intellect for a reason. And then we have spiritual gifts for a reason. A lot of women are so intuitive, men too, but our intuition is so heightened, and so many of us don't trust it because it ain't in line with what you heard at church. And it's a problem because what you heard at church, a lot of the times, I'm not going to get on this soapbox, but let me say this real quick and let it go. A lot of the times it is man created and man made and man manipulated.
Man manipulated.
And benefiting the menfolk. So it is so crazy that life comes through us. And all these this energy comes through us. And then we have such heightened intuition and our senses of spiritual things are heightened, yet we don't trust it.
Yes.
That's sad. That's sad for me. It saddens me so many times. You hear these stories of women. You hear these stories of women who've been victimized, and all of along they heard something in their head was saying, go in the house, or don't talk to that person, or don't go over there, or get in your car, or turn it, and they didn't listen. And it's your own demise. And I hate that. And I feel like if we just trust our intuition,
Yeah.
we just follow that there are ways that we will find ourselves living that might be a little different than
Mhm.
what we've been trained
And that's
as,
okay.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's so authentic to you that it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Like if you're finding
Yes.
No,
it
but see,
just doesn't matter.
Then there's that word authenticity that because of how we're taught. Now, fortunately for me, my dad was like, yeah, no, you're an individual.
Yes.
You know, just
Awesome.
following around other people.
Right.
No, you be the lead, let them follow you. You don't, and there were, daddy was an explicit word person,
Mhm.
but
I like it.
that was the thing for him. And so I didn't get it when I was growing up because when I was growing up, like children do, they got this, I want it.
Right.
So it was
Right.
that thing until I got older. And then it was like, wait, whoa, pause, pimping,
Mhm.
and you see all these people, especially when I moved to Texas, all these people following other
Following,
people like
yep.
her.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
nothing wrong with living authentically
Mhm.
per you.
Mhm.
That's what keeps all the dis-ease in your life away.
Right.
Well, that's one thing I really have always loved about the LGBTQ community. I wanted to make sure I said all the letters.
And I think you left out 2, but that's a whole nother show.
IA plus.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's okay.
Lord,
I knew it was I something.
I need some
okay.
training. So
Right.
here's the thing. I love that some of them, they don't care what you think. They are who they are. They have accepted their identity.
Yeah.
Even if it's outside of the norm,
Right.
they don't care.
Right.
Yep.
They finna be who they gonna be.
Yep.
And they will show up in full regalia.
Yes.
And they don't care what you got on.
Right.
Yeah.
Ain't even studying you.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's what I wish that we all would be like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wouldn't we be more happy?
Or at least the majority of us, it would be nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We would. And that I believe we are getting there. I think that this generation of millennials is teaching us or showing that we really can be who we want to be, who we are. And especially our trans brothers and sisters, because I feel like they are trailblazers in a lot of ways, because there is a large amount of confidence that you have to have after the trauma you've experienced to be able to walk in your authenticity. And so I appreciate that this generation is living out loud and living on purpose, and that they are in a place, with social media, that we can see it, that it's not, because I was watching a show called Legendary, and so that it's kind of based on the ballroom culture, and I won't belabor this point. But it is such, like, you can watch now because they've gone mainstream with this show. And it really is a culture that I am on the outside of. All of these people a lot of these people are Black. A lot of these people are LGBT. There are some women in here. But this is an experience that is outside of my norm and so to be able to see, like, you all have honed and cultivated this entire experience that once you've let the world in, y'all are so rooted in what this is about and its realness. Like, the people that they're letting in, yes, they're letting in folks who are not gay or who are not trans. There are like women houses, they are.
Wait a minute, where they at? Hello. And where do I sign up, baby?
I get y'all, but there was one house that was the House of Ninja on fire. They were so live. But the fact that they paid homage to ballroom as it's in its authentic state, and that the ballroom culture said that they were well and would invite them and to be a part. So that means that you are serving that community. And so I just appreciated that, like, that authenticity that is a part of that community, so that they could show us without fear of they're not going to approve of us. No, you want me on your mainstream television show. So I just appreciate that and appreciate the communities that live out authentically.
See, what I like in I love the ballroom culture. I like drag queens.
Okay.
I've always felt like if I was a man, I would be a drag queen anyway. I would be a drag queen because I'm just feminine.
Yes.
But what I like about drag queens is that they embrace femininity, however you say it. They embrace it. And as long as I have been alive, I have been punished for being feminine.
Gotcha.
And I hate it so much because that's what I am. I
What
can't help
am.
that.
Why are you,
I am so ultra feminine. I've always been
Yes.
my whole life. But they celebrate it, honey.
Right.
And they are ultra.
beautiful, and they do it justice. Like they make
Oh,
women.
yeah.
I know they make me be like, oh, that's really what
You know why? Because they take pride in
In
it.
this.
And there's no apology. It's like when you're a woman and you take pride in your feminine
Yes.
attributes,
Yes.
you have to be sorry.
Yeah.
And you know, if you come somewhere and you all dolled up, I'm sorry, or you gotta apologize for it, or you gotta
something.
feel bad.
That's good.
And I hate that. I
Yeah.
hate it. And that's the reason why I gained strength from drag queens, because they make me proud to be the person that I am. I love being feminine. I love being girly. I love being, you know, all those things. I was born like that. It's not my fault. Leave me be. But I love the fact that they embrace it. And it's unfortunate that regular women don't.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
It's weird to me.
Right. And then we find that it's found as something to look down upon.
Yes.
I agree.
Because people want you to be masculine for some reason. And it's like, I ain't a man.
No.
I just shout out to that community. I just love you guys. I love you guys so much.
Thank you. So I wanted to touch on some of the, I guess, items, news items, some of the things that we know were happening in our world this week. So, of course, we are all aware of the historic verdict after the Derek Chauvin trial, that he received guilty and as charged for all three of the counts for murdering George Floyd. And wanted to get you guys' opinion. Like, what were you doing? What did you feel when that came down? What was that experience like for you? We literally have been a part of history.
Yeah.
Like, this is our civil rights experience moment.
Well, I got a whole story behind it. Like,
go
I
ahead.
was here at Stunner Radio,
Okay.
and I was posting. Oh, I'm patiently waiting. And some told me, don't post that. Why you have to post where you are, and why are you posting? And I was like, I'm posting it.
Okay.
And so I did post it. And I was so excited when they found him guilty.
Yes.
Mhm.
But some told me lock the door. And I was like, but you know, I follow my intuition.
Lock
for the most
door
part,
here.
Here.
Okay.
And I went and locked the door. And I was like, okay, I don't think nothing crazy gonna happen, but I'm still gonna follow that voice
Sure.
because it's not gonna hurt. I should have it locked anyway when I'm by myself. But I heard this knocking on the door probably 10 minutes after the verdict. And I was like, I wasn't expecting nobody. And it was this white guy.
Mhm.
And y'all, you know, don't come for me, but I'm just gonna describe what I saw. Okay. He looked like a good old boy.
Mm.
He looked like he was at the Capitol. Okay.
Mm.
He was one of the people. He just had that look. And when I opened the door, I was like, hello, you know, can I help you?
Yeah.
It's a big old sign that says Stunner Radio. And he was like, looking at his phone.
Mhm.
Is this the massage place? No, this is Stunner Radio.
Right.
Did the verdict come in? As soon as I said this is Stunner Radio,
Wow.
did the verdict come in? And I started getting a little anxiety.
Right.
I was like, oh God, I'm here by myself. I ain't got that thing on
Right.
me.
Yeah.
I'm looking crazy. I got a little
Right.
pocket knife. I can do something with it though.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it was at my desk. I'm at the door and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I
What
just
the
had
fuck
the
is
door
you have to
cracked.
think about?
Yeah.
You know, I just had the door cracked and he was like, what? So did the verdict come in? And
Oh.
his whole demeanor changed.
Yeah.
And I said, and you know what? The funny thing about it, you never know in those moments who gonna rise up in you.
Yeah.
And some rose up in me as if I don't care what you came here to do to me.
Right.
This is for me and all my ancestors and
Right.
everybody who was
Yeah.
killed.
Not
This for, I'm
today.
finna stand in your face
Not
Yeah.
and
today.
say, I
On
said
your
yes,
neck, actually.
guilty on
Yes.
all charges.
Yeah.
And I felt some strength coming,
Come
me
on,
boy,
man.
guilty.
Come on,
And then he was
ancestors.
like, good, and left. No, you know it was. You didn't think it was good.
Wow.
You didn't think it was good,
No.
but you saw that strength rise up in me. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat the hell out of you if you try me.
Yeah.
I just have questions. Who are you?
That's too much.
Why would you come
It
here?
was a lot,
too much.
okay,
That's
because
too
you
much.
know a person's energy when you
I
I
feel
was just
it.
gonna say, spirit
And it
speak.
was a lot. And when
Yeah.
I opened the door, I felt the energy was not good,
Mhm.
and that's why I got anxious.
Antsy.
Like, oh my
Right.
God, I shouldn't have posted
Right.
that. And not that, you know, we out there like that, but once you put something out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
You don't know who see it.
Yeah.
It's viewable to the public.
It's internet.
And so I was like, wow, really shaken up by that. But I was proud of myself that I wasn't going to back down. Because at first I started to say, I don't know. When he said, did the verdict come in? I started to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And shut the door.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, it did. Guilty on all charges.
Yeah. Now
You know,
what?
because I was like,
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
come on, get this beat down right
That's
quick.
Right. That's bold.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
you don't know who's in here.
Well, so but they've been being
Trouble
bold for a
for a
hot
while.
minute. Ever
Yes.
since, and I know it probably wasn't the first time, but ever since that Zimmerman
Yeah.
Yes.
when got away with, it's been getting bolder and bolder
You're
with the
right.
things that has been done. But I was at work, so I'm home health care, and most of my clients are
Right.
pink people.
Right.
And so the house was real calm today.
Okay.
That day that it happened, it was real calm. Any other day when the riots have been breaking out, depending on which house I'm at, one person is, I want to know how you feel. No, really, you don't, bro. You don't. Back down.
Right.
Okay. But this particular one, the house was real quiet. They were glued to the TV watching, didn't say anything. In fact, that day asked, can I add you on another day for my schedule to make sure to make sure you get paid?
So do you feel like they felt it was right? A right verdict?
That particular person, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in all of his, angst against some other things and the fact that he is avid Trump supporter, avid.
Okay.
That was a moment that it was like, yeah, that needed to happen.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then yesterday he said to me, I'm just baffled at where this world is going. I can't believe they treat people like that.
Mhm.
Because the world saw it.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that's the thing that set George Floyd's situation apart for people who try to figure out what makes it such a big deal,
Mhm.
because we saw it
Yeah.
in real time. Even though we didn't see it as it was happening,
Mhm.
we saw it. We saw the breath leave him.
Yeah.
That's something that you
Yeah.
will never forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you hear a person call out for their mother,
Who's
anybody
already
who's
deceased.
had a child.
Mhm.
I mean, I read a post that said every mother felt
Felt it,
something when
yeah,
they heard that. And
yeah,
that is so
yeah,
true,
yeah.
because it just made you feel like, what if that was my child?
Mhm.
You know, what would I do if that was my child? So for me, I think, everybody, the world watching that was major.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It
absolutely.
was major.
Agreed. I was watching the ABC 2020. They did such a remarkable job last night.
Okay.
Just kind of recapping everything up to the verdict.
Oh,
So,
nice.
like,
wow.
there
I'll check
were
that out.
facts that we just didn't know. Like, legit, they said that they worked together. George Floyd and Derek Chauvin worked together.
I remember
I had
reading
heard
that.
that, but I thought it was a rumor.
No, they were both security guards at the same club. Chauvin was outside, and they were talking about how he would flex on everybody all the time, and people really didn't enjoy his energy. And George Floyd was inside,
Mhm.
and that everybody loved him, and he was Georgie, and just talking about like how different their relationship, that power dynamic
Mhm.
was, and how at the moment that he got to flip it, where Chauvin took that.
He took
And
advantage.
so it was just like, are you kidding? Like, this meaning that when you looked at this man's face, when you've had this time with him, from the time you get to the scene to the time that they take him away, you recognize this person.
Oh, absolutely. At
You
some point.
knew who this person was.
At some point, yeah.
And it takes the lack of humanity of the moment to another level with that for me. And so it was really if you could go and watch the 2020, it was really well done. And the fact that there were so many police officers who were willing to speak and say, this is not what our training was about.
Mhm.
Whether it really was or it really was not, this is the first time that you saw so many officers who were willing to speak to the fact that it was like, no, this is not this is not what we do. This is not how we handle things. And so I felt like that was the first time that policing had to kind of defend itself, because normally the system defends policing. The system supports it. And so this was the first time that they had to kind of reckon with, if I don't own the fact that I'm looking at this as a person and I'm seeing that this is wrong and this is clearly murder, that it will really stand up in policing. And you see us here saying that no, this isn't okay. You see the police chief saying no, that this is not, like, my officer was wrong. And I feel like that was a huge and significant part of what kind of changed for a lot of people, their minds. Because my concern was, they said that the jury was diverse, but there were only 4 Black people on the jury. It was 9 white folks, 4 Black people. No, that's not right. But you know,
8 and 4.
8 and 4. So 4 Black people, 2 of them were multiracial, the rest of them were white folks. And so for the defense, or I'm sorry, for the prosecution to have done such an effective job with their witnesses, that you were able to show white folks in Minnesota, where this is habitual, that they needed to look at this and trust their eyes. It just was I appreciated the way the prosecution handled this case.
I think that the people were always going to come to that mindset. The people knew. We saw it.
Right.
Okay. We saw it.
Oh, that was what I
what was I going to say? We saw it. Okay. So the people saw it. I think what made it okay is for the jury is that everything is so highly publicized. You can't keep the fact that you on a jury a secret no more. Because once it's a public record, somebody gonna know you was on a jury.
Right.
And so I think that at this particular juncture, what other verdict could they have come to?
To be safe.
To be safe, because like I said on the last show, we was ready.
Right.
I'm not a riotous person for the most part, but on that one, I was ready.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing that I didn't mention was that they pointed out that this was, and we've said it in the Black community, but that for the first time for this generation, they saw a lynching in progress. And for you to literally see this, and for the consciousness of America to be where it is, and to see the lynching in progress, you're right. They really needed to figure out what they were going to do. And then, to me, do you think that nullifies the verdict in that way? Do you think that? Yeah.
No, I don't think it nullifies the verdict, because the verdict we already came to the conclusion before he was even charged. We saw what happened.
Yeah.
And they could bring every witness to the stand they want. And one person was saying his knee was actually on his shoulder, and one person said he had heart disease. I don't care what you say. We saw it.
Yeah.
Right.
So we really didn't need the verdict.
Right.
But I think that if we all be honest about our reality right now, after what we saw them white folks do at that Capitol, don't tell me nothing about nothing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't tell me nothing about nothing. All the years they made us feel bad for the Rodney King riots, and the riots that happened after George Floyd, and all the things that we did, the Watts riots, all the things they made us feel bad about, and then y'all go tear up the U.S. Capitol building for something
of all places,
for something that was just
everything that we've ever rioted about has been because
was an injury,
and
it
needed to be
because your guy didn't win.
Yeah,
over nothing. And so it's remarkable that so many, and I'm happy that so many Black people were just like, this is accountability. Please don't get it twisted that this is justice.
Yeah.
Because justice is 400 years in the wake. This is accountability.
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of where we can begin to see laws change that will get us to justice.
I hope so.
This is accountability.
I hope so. But do you feel like it's also can be looked at as just a Band-Aid? Because there's so many cases out there like this where
I think that and the guy who was on before mentioned a precedent-setting case. I think that it's a precedent-setting case. I think that with so many cases sitting on the shelf waiting or whatever, I feel like this is going to be the one that is remarked on, that is used as justification for how we need to move forward with addressing police violence against citizens. I think that this case is going to be the one that, if you're still waiting, I think that this is going to be the one that could possibly move the needle for you. Like I just saw in the news that the chick who shot both of them, John and Dallas, is trying to appeal or trying to get her sentence, something with her sentence. And I'm just like, sis, this isn't the time. Like, this is not.
Was she found guilty?
Going to yeah, I want to say she was. I'll look at it.
Oh, I don't remember. Okay.
But she but I'm just like, this is going to, nobody's going to look at this case the same way they did when you got your original sentence.
Yeah.
Nobody is
So
going
tread
to
lightly,
see this,
yeah.
exactly. Nobody is going to see this and have the same kind of empathy.
Yeah.
So you might want to just sit down and
Yeah.
call it a moment.
Yeah.
I think that the former officer who killed Dante Wright, I think that every officer after this is going to have a lot to reckon with.
They
I
need
hope
to
so.
watch out after this
Yeah,
because
I hope so.
when they saw Derek Chauvin get led away, they all should have felt
Mhm.
some type of way
Mhm.
because he thought he was going home.
Mhm.
You could see the shock on his face, like me. Wait, what?
Right.
Guilty?
Mhm. You talking about me? You talking about me?
Yeah. He looked at
Yeah.
his lawyer like, bruh.
Like, what happened?
What's
All the money
going
I
on
pay
here?
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finna
Yeah.
be back there with.
Don't
both
they
of
know
them.
who I is?
Right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they were they said that this morning I saw that the DOJ is looking at potentially adding additional charges because of another case where he had his knee on someone's neck for 17 minutes.
This guy, the same guy.
Chauvin.
Wow.
And so I was like, no way, how do you do that? And so to find out that this is a
17
federal,
minutes?
yes, this is a federal. And I was like, okay. And it's kind of pissing me off because it's like, now you want to come to the table like, oh, by the way, now he did this and he did this. And
Well,
we gonna get him for
because
this.
these people who are connected to that 17-minute
Mhm.
person, now they got
Right.
something on,
Now they
they
feel
have
like they
a
have a
ground.
fight.
Just
Yeah.
like these people,
Yeah.
right.
That's
they're
true.
gonna be compensated.
Right.
That's
So
true.
they trying to jump ahead. You know,
Mhm.
I think it's unfortunate with the case in Columbus, Ohio, though,
Right.
where the officer was heard on camera saying "Blue Lives Matter" after you shot somebody to death.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. That should be open and shut.
And I didn't know that was true.
Oh, all you
Was
gotta
it
do is
the
watch
officer
it.
who shot?
Yes.
Yes.
Watch it. If it haven't been taken down.
Yeah.
When I saw that part of the clip, I was like, "Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
Are you
And I think
serious?"
that added to, because I was at one of the houses, that's what added to him just
Yeah.
kind of being like,
Yeah.
I can't even
This
say
is
nothing
it.
else.
Yeah. And
Because they showed it and they were like, look, we about to show y'all something that's gonna be kind of graphic. So
Yeah.
brace yourself.
Just get
If
ready.
you got cheering, take them
Right.
out the room.
Yeah.
And it to hear that,
Yeah.
like you walked away like with your chest stuck
To
out.
not hear him say
The
that.
problem with it is there's no such thing as a blue life.
No.
You know, stop that. That's
No.
some rhetoric that is misplaced. There's no such
It was
thing.
created to
You can
combat
take
the
off
Black
them
Lives
blue
Matter.
clothes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can. We cannot take off this black skin.
At all.
And so stop. I don't
Right.
like that. And the
Right.
fact that he was so on the ready with that.
So
You know,
crazy.
that's
Yeah,
terrible.
I'm tired of every time we get something, they want to take it.
Mhm.
Like Blue Lives Matter. Really? That didn't exist until we were in the street screaming Black Lives Matter.
Right.
It was not there
Right.
until,
Right.
and would not have been that there had not the blue lives been killing the black
Right.
lives.
Exactly.
I mean, let's be clear.
Exactly. And yeah.
Breathe.
Well, I mean, I'm just happy. I want to live in this moment. I know
Absolutely.
people are saying don't celebrate
Right.
yet. No, I'm
Oh,
celebrating.
celebrate!
I'm
Absolutely.
going to
Don't
celebrate
get comfortable
because
though.
if that was my son, I want
Right.
to see that man carried
Yes.
away in them chains.
Yeah.
I want to see that, and we
Absolutely.
saw that. So I'm happy for that.
yeah. If that had been my nephew, I have 3
For
brothers.
sure.
I have 4 nephews. You know
For
what I'm saying?
sure.
So, and even for the young lady that was gunned
Right.
down,
And she's
my
a foster
nieces were angry like that
Yeah.
in their lives.
Mhm.
So really,
But see, how many videos have we seen of white people
Mhm.
with knives, with guns, even
With
all up in
guns.
police officers'
Mhm.
with
faces?
guns.
Mhm.
They
I mean,
talked about
come
the little
on.
boy that had just finished shooting up people and was walking
With
down the street with the
AK-47.
AK, and y'all
Absolutely.
waved at him.
Absolutely. And it
So
was-
really,
like this morning I was reading Micaiah Bryant, I think is her name.
Mhm.
But she was a foster child, and the foster mother was saying that it was because of a fight between the foster kids. And so it's like it was a family thing. Like it got out of hand. Like how many times do we see this with drunk white folks? Like
Yeah.
what what makes you approach a situation when there are black folks with so much aggression? Like,
Fear.
why is the first thing what are you afraid of?
They are afraid of us.
But the girl was, what are you afraid of?
I had a guy.
She was lunging at the young lady. Not saying that you shouldn't have been concerned about her life, but what are you afraid of in that moment? If anything, you're wanting to stop her from attacking her.
I get that.
So I don't understand what why you're pulling your gun as soon as you pull up within 11 seconds, you're firing.
Yeah, she should have been
You haven't
tased.
even assessed
I was just gonna say no
anything.
saves, no nothing. Yeah.
You don't know what's happening.
Who is what's what? Didn't try
And
to
so
de-escalate at all.
It's just like, how do we get the humanity in law enforcement? Because
It's taught.
policing is the issue. We need to deal with law enforcement, and that's a different
But I think
way.
I think we're all aware that it's not just them, though. It's not just law enforcement, and that's why we have to be vigilant. We have to make people treat us like human beings. First of all, we got to treat each other like human beings.
Yeah.
But we got to make them see us because we are human. You know, when we look at the case, George Zimmerman was not a police officer.
You're right.
Mhm.
And when you look at all these Karens
Vigilantes.
and all these people,
Mhm,
hey,
mhm.
they don't see us as humans.
Yeah.
And we have to enforce the fact that we are human beings. And some of y'all, that's the reason why you got black grandchildren now, because you didn't want to see us as human, and now they in your family.
All up.
So
in
are
there.
they human?
Yeah. Now what?
You know, now you have to face the fact.
And that's a historical result, because even with how the police force historically was formed, they would often deputize Klansmen so that they have these community members who are policing on behalf of the police.
Mhm.
So that's where that white entitlement comes in of citizens arrest, and you're coming in thinking that because you are a part of community patrol,
Mhm.
that has authorized you in the same way that it is secured a police officer,
Mhm,
licensed a police officer. So the historical piece, yes, we need to do a lot of unteaching.
Mhm.
We
Oh,
need to-
absolutely.
We need to help. Because how we respond in this moment will help them unlearn some of the things that history has taught them.
Well, unlearn or
Unte-
burn.
Yes.
Unteach
No,
and
that's good.
teach, period.
Right.
Because I feel like,
That's good.
well, for one thing, Lisa said it when she said we have to start treating each other like we're humans. You know, I saw a post yesterday that was like basically saying, you know, how can we expect them to stop gunning us down when we can't stop gunning each other down? When are our brothers gonna go up to the brothers and be? But it still needs to be. It still has to start there.
Agree, but
I
a
do
lot
agree.
of times we deflect. We take away from the conversation and the accountability that it puts on the police when it's like, oh, well, when are we going to stop doing that to each other? White folks kill each other. You kill who you're around. And so the reality is that white folks are killing each other in the
Mhm.
same way that black folks are killing themselves. Or killing each other. So I don't disagree. I just don't think that you're conflating the two issues when you bring them to the table, because they're not the same.
Okay.
They're killing each other. Why? Because they're trying to deal with housing. They're trying to deal with, or they're dealing with poverty. They're dealing with all of these systemic issues in their community that to me has an impact on how they interact with each other.
But see, I agree and disagree.
Okay.
I agree that this is a separate conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's so connected.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I feel like it's connected because I took this training on psychopaths and sociopaths. And one of the main characteristics is that they don't see people as humans. They see people as objects. And so that is the history of the United States.
Agreed.
It was founded by a bunch of sociopaths who saw people as objects, like Native Americans,
Agreed.
just move them off the board and take the land.
Mhm.
And so that is the history, and that's what this country
That's
is founded on. And that's why the chickens are come home to roost, because you founded this country with that idea that we're not human,
Right.
and you don't even see each other.
Right.
See, and that's why I like what you said about they killing each other too, because they don't even see each other
Right.
as human sometimes,
Right.
but they definitely put us lower than they put
You're right.
themselves.
Yeah.
You're right.
And
Absolutely
so
right about
we have adopted these Western ways.
that. You're
And
right.
this is what I don't like. where Black people don't even see each other as people no more.
Yeah.
We see each
Yeah.
other as tools. What can I get out of you?
Yeah.
That's right.
And what can I
That's
get
it.
out of you?
That's
Yeah.
And what are you useful for?
Yeah.
And we didn't used to be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have adopted these Western ways. That's how they think.
You're right.
Yeah.
And that's what has infected
Eurocentric
this
thinking. You're
country.
right.
This country is infected, it's sick, it's an illness. And that part needs to be healed where we start seeing each other as humans again. I had to check myself because in my choosing, I start thinking about individuals not as human. Like,
Yeah.
what are you useful for? What's going to benefit me if I deal with you?
Come on.
And then I had to check myself. I said, that's not good.
Mhm.
That's not good. These are humans. We are human beings.
But that's
This
how
a
we
whole
marry.
nother
That's a whole
person.
conversation.
But see, that's not correct. These are ways that we have adopted that we need to change
You're
back to how we used to be. You know, it's not correct. If you think about even Black families,
Mhm.
you know, it didn't used to be a time where Black children didn't even respect their parents
Yep.
if only for what their parents could do for them.
Absolutely.
It used to be, I love my mama because it's my
Period.
mama.
'Cause it's
Mhm.
my
It don't
mama.
matter if
That's
she can
right.
buy me new shoes or not. That's
That's
my
right.
mama.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like, oh, let me find, you know, another home to go to because we don't got
Mhm.
cable.
Mhm.
What in the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we have adopted these ways, and I really agree with what you said, Miriam, because we have to fix that. If we fix that, we can fix our own community. We don't
Mhm.
need their help.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because if we
Agreed.
fix
We don't
that,
need it
we're
no
gonna
way.
be all right.
Yeah.
We have to stop seeing each other's as means to ends.
That's
We have
right.
to see each other as human beings again.
Yeah.
Because if we do that, we won't be so quick to hurt each other.
Yeah.
We won't be so quick to celebrate when somebody falls.
And
Yeah.
tear somebody
You know,
down.
and tear
Yeah.
each other down. And you know, I do agree with how funny it looks when we get so mad over George Floyd,
Mhm.
but see another brother do it and we
Sure.
not mad.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have a
You know
problem
that
with
you
it.
gotta admit that look
Sure.
weird.
Yeah.
Sure.
That look weird
Agreed.
because a knee on the neck is a knee on the neck.
Agreed.
It don't matter whose knee it is. If a brother's life is being cut short, it's being cut short.
Agreed
Yeah.
1,000%.
So we get so mad over that, but I mean, we see it every day within our
Right.
own
Yeah.
families, even sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know what
Especially
happened
there.
to my friend Pastor
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah.
Ain't no marches for that.
Yeah.
Ain't no, riots.
You're right.
But he was murdered in his own home by a family member
That he was trying to
because
help.
he
Yeah.
would not give him more money.
Yeah.
That's still injustice, you know.
Yeah.
And I just feel like
Agreed.
we have to change that part. If we don't change that part, we lost.
Mhm.
Well, and then, like I said, it's the same, but it's different. A lot of times, and yes, that's how America was founded. You know, between in its own paper.
Mhm.
I can't wait until I have that person on the show to talk about that. But it's on paper how they look at us
Right.
as objects or tools and such, right?
Mhm.
And then how they train us to do the same.
Each other.
So yes, it has to be an unteaching and a reteaching, and that's why I was going to say, some of the elders or the grandmothers or the grandparents, they either got tired or just didn't feel like dealing with it no more.
Or young.
Oh yeah,
Because I feel like a lot of what happened was that wisdom that our parents had that came with age and time.
Mhm.
When you started having children who had younger children or who were having children, that wisdom, they didn't have that life experience.
Mm.
And so I feel
Mm.
like a lot of times that wisdom is lost
Mhm.
because you did not live. And until you get to a certain point,
I'm gonna have to say it's the life experience and not the age.
okay,
Because my grandparents got married when they was 13.
valid.
So they was young.
But they
had life
married
experience
because they had
of
been,
probably a
okay,
40-year-old.
Okay.
And by the age of
I
13,
got you.
Wow.
they had been through some stuff
I
that
got
probably
you.
40-year-olds been
I
through.
got you.
So I feel like it's a lack of life experience
Okay. Versus
more
the
than age.
Mhm, mhm.
And so I know for my generation, we weren't out there living like that. Like when I was 16 and it was people in my high school getting pregnant, we weren't rising with the chickens and having to plow stuff and having the
Right.
experiences.
I wasn't having to plow, but I had to get up with the
Exactly.
chickens.
And so it's just like, okay, at that point, you have mamas, like our mamas are raising our kids.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, that generation, we don't have that wisdom because at 16, what is my experience?
Yeah.
And so at 16 in 93 is different from, you know what I'm saying? So I get your point, but I'm like, I feel like what happened was that gap,
Mhm.
that experience and life gap, because
Mhm.
you don't know how to, I don't know. I'm staying right now.
No,
You know,
I mean,
it's crazy because we are at our time
Oh,
already.
wow.
I can't believe
Our
it.
topic.
I
We're
know.
going to be talking about manifestation.
But we
I got 3 pages of work.
listen, we can come back and do a supplement or a manifestation. I'm not gonna just cut it. But I
Wow.
do believe we have a guest for the next hour
We
on the
do.
Love Power Radio Show.
We
So
do.
we do not want to keep our guests waiting. But I
Yes.
will say this: we didn't go to not one break.
Not
Not
one.
one break. You know, when you get
topic
some,
was hot.
yes, good Lord.
Good hot coffee.
Yes. So we're gonna take a real quick break and we're gonna wrap up and don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle but have less than perfect credit? Look no further than Mi Amigo Motors, offering in-house financing to help you build or reestablish your credit. All vehicles are put through a multi-point inspection, and their award-winning customer service and on-site service center will make your buying experience stress-free. I know you got your stimulus check and it's tax refund season, so stop by Mi Amigo Motors today at 9729 Long Point Road or give them a call at 832-548-5927 to reserve your appointment for their VIP approval. Again, that's 832-548-5927. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Welcome back.
I thought you
It's
were
Black
going to
Coffee with a side of tea. And we are wrapping up our show today. Thank you for spending time with me.
Yeah.
Miss Mimi
Come
and
through.
Lisa Danae. Always wonderful conversation with these two ladies. But come back next week. Zoe will be back. Lisa the Boss Lady will be back. We're looking forward to seeing you this week.
Always.
Interact with us on the Facebook this week. Lisa, am I missing something?
And if you watch the replay, be sure to comment in the comments
Yes.
#replay so that we can interact with you as you watch the replay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And
For
we'll see
tuning
y'all
in.
next week.
Bye.
Hey, it's your girl Lisa Danae, and I want to tell you about a product that has changed my life. Rain Premium Sanitary Napkins. Rain products are infused with a Nobel Prize-winning material called graphene. It's the graphene strip that provides the various health benefits that can improve your quality of life during that time of the month. Listen, I've been very loyal to a certain brand of feminine products, but I've never experienced the results I get with Rain products. The difference is in the graphene strip. Using Rain products has totally eliminated the painful cramps I experience, and it can also help balance your body's pH, eliminate harmful bacteria, and help fight fatigue. Graphene moves heat away from your core to keep you cool and comfortable. Ladies, it's time to upgrade your feminine care with products that not only offer protection, but also improve your health and wellness. Place your order today and receive your premium sanitary napkins delivered directly to your door. Visit www.drfcare.com to make your purchase today. And don't forget to mention that your girl Lisa Danae and Stunner Radio sent you.